Hello, welcome back to another FPL video from Fantasy Football Scout. Team selection time ahead of the deadline that is today. So this is going to go out early Tuesday morning. The deadline's at 4:30, so don't miss that. And as always, we're going to have a look at how Gianni did in Game Week 12, how we're looking for Game Week 13, transfers, captaincy, all that good stuff. Gianni, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm very pleased there's so many game weeks in a short amount of time. This is the most enjoyable part of FPL. It really is.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this is the time you really don't want to come out worse than you go in, though, because then you get to the business end of the season. So that always worries me a little bit. But yeah, the amount of football, the amount of deadlines. If you get it wrong, you got only a few days to rectify it. So it's not too bad. Talking of how we went, let's just jump straight into it. Right, 51 points in game week 12. I'm almost losing track of what game weeks we're in, which was about par, really. It wasn't. I didn't check the average, but looking at scores over Twitter and stuff. Was it 51? Yeah, okay, there you go. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that high score in a week. Obviously, you were in particular, Jota was injured. We didn't actually know he was definitely out until after the deadline. It was just a knock, wasn't it? But your bench has let you down. So you've come into that with 10 men. Are you frustrated about the bench situation after that?
A little bit. And then obviously Lamptey not starting and Burke not starting. It was a poor week for me. I had nine in the end. But to be honest, if Lamptey had started, I'd have got a point. And
Yeah,
what
exactly.
yeah, it's. I could have made a transfer last week. I knew by rolling the transfer and not replacing Jota and not replacing Masuaku, there was a good chance I'd get 9 or 10 men out because there's always the fear of someone you don't know about being missing out. But I just thought I wasn't ready to make my moves. I wasn't convinced on anyone, and I wanted another week just to eye test. So I'm happier with my moves now, making 2 this week than last week. So I'm pleased I didn't knee jerk Masuaku or Jota out, to be honest.
We'll come on to next week's team in a minute because I know you've made your transfers already, and I think it'll be interesting for a lot of people looking to make similar moves. I would say. Let's just talk about a couple more players from last week. So, I mean, the Man United derby 0-0. I don't think anyone can be completely shocked that that was tight. I think City have only scored like once past us now in the last 3 league games. So, for whatever reason, City find it tough against United. Werner blank. So he has been ticking over, but he hasn't really, apart from I think Southampton, which was back in game week 5, I think, where he got 16 points. I don't think he's had a double-digit haul since. Is it just time to give up on Werner?
Yeah, I'm just looking at his results now. He's had 1 double digit and he's had a couple of 7s. It's terrible
Yeah.
for his price. Terrible for his price point.
I think the problem
Um,
with him is it's not
yeah,
even because he is cheaper than De Bruyne, Salah, etc. But because of the way the money is spread around, he still blocks one of those big moves, right? Yes, you have to take money out of somewhere else to do it, but I think that's the issue with him right now. He's just blocking moves for players that are returning like every single week at the moment. So, what are you thinking of
he's
him?
not staying. He's not staying, Andy. I had to get Bruno in this week, so Sterling kept his place. But no, the plan with Werner is an upgrade to Harry Kane either next week or the week after. He's actually just a placeholder in my team at the moment, and yeah, I'm very excited to bring back some Spurs coverage.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. The only saving grace, so I've put your team up actually for next week now because you mentioned that you've still got Werner. The only saving grace is for Spurs, or those of us that don't own Spurs players, is they're playing Liverpool. So if they're going to blank, maybe
Yeah.
this is the week it will happen, but we'll have to wait and see. So Werner's still in, but you've got Bruno Fernandes now. So what were the 2 moves? And these were for free, right? I think these 2 moves. Is that right? You didn't make a transfer last week.
Yeah, yeah, 2 freebies. It's allowed me to bank some money as well. So I've sold Jota and I've sold Masuaku. Sorry, I'm not sold Jota. I've sold Jota and I've sold Sterling. So Raheem Sterling, it was about time he went. Bruno came in for him. That was an easy move. And then Jota, I liked a few in the sort of similar price point to him. I like Jared Bowen a lot, 6.2. But I've gone for Lookman at 5 million to then allow me funds to upgrade Masuaku and then to upgrade Werner to Harry Kane. So I like having 2.2-ish in the bank. Is it 2.2 or 2.4? I can't remember.
Yeah, I could. So it says 0 on the screen because I set this up before you made your transfers. So you've obviously taken money out. So yeah, I think you said before we started recording you got 2.4 now. So yeah, that will easily let you do Werner to Kane and do a Masuaku
For
upgrade.
Dyer, I think.
Uh, Eric Dyer, is it?
Yeah, I'm
That's
going
what you're thinking?
Masuaku to Dyer, I think. He's 5 million. We've seen his knuckleball free kick against Guaita for a worldy save. With their fixture turn, I knew I wanted a Spurs defender when they came out of this bad fixture sort of wave. So in a couple of weeks, I'll jump on Dyer for sure.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it took me a little while then to remember his first name, but I do. Yeah, I know who you mean. I think he's 4.9, isn't he? So he's a pretty good price. Was there any way you could have? Because obviously the thing with taking Sterling out is obviously he's playing West Brom. So if he does start,
Yeah.
I think anyone that starts that game has got a chance of a big haul. So is that worrying at all? Like, could you have taken Werner out and funded Fernandes this week, or is it just all eyes on getting Kane back now?
That was my dilemma: is do I go Bruno to and swap Jota out for Bruno? Werner would have had to come down to a 5.4, 5.3.4. So I couldn't have got a Welbeck. I could have got a Fabio at Wolves, or I could have gone a Brewster for a bench up. And I just thought, no, I'm making my squad too weak yet again. And I could just see myself making that move, Andy, so I can have Sterling play against West Brom just to see Sterling bench. So I just thought it's not worth the headache. I'm done with Pep Roulette. And I actually genuinely, I'm completely 50-50 on the Sterling move. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's benched. Didn't look great. Foden needs minutes, but also Torres needs minutes, and Torres is a favourite of Pep. I actually thought about a short-term punt on Torres for Jota. I've gone with Lookman, but I'm pretty confident Torres starts against West Brom, and he's been banging them in the Champions League. And yeah, that was I just thought I can't go short term on Man City again. I've been stung too many times this season. I've got to learn from my mistakes. I did it earlier in the season with Foden. I jumped on Sterling. That's not worked. Just KDB is enough for me. It's got to be. I've got to be normal on Man City.
Yeah, I think I know it's a bit cliche, but I think at certain times of the season it probably does pay to be a bit more patient. Like we don't know what rotation is going to be like. There are a lot of matches. How is that going to affect certain teams? It's probably just best to get the best players in, or as you always do. But at certain times of the season, a punt feels like a little bit more, I don't know, feasible or viable, especially like towards the end of the season. So yeah, I think going for De Bruyne only probably makes sense because he barely gets rested. So a few people starting to talk about it now, but I just don't see it. I think for pretty much every other position, there's a player they can replace someone with, and they're still pretty good. But there's just no one like De Bruyne. So I think he'll get just worn into the ground, and he's had quite a few rests in the Champions League as well, hasn't he? Let's talk about Lookman. Because Fulham were quite good against Liverpool. I definitely deserved their point, perhaps even deserved the win. But a point nonetheless was a good result. You could have got, is it Carvalho? I've probably pronounced that name wrong. Is it Carvalho?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Cavallero, yeah.
Cavallero. That's it. I knew it was CAV. Yeah, okay. I'm having a nightmare today. Couldn't even remember Eric Dyer's name. So he would have been 0.3 million more, and he's on penalties.
Yeah.
Was that something you
Yeah.
considered, or did you just want to take all the money out?
No, I looked at it and I can afford to still get Kane for Werner and Masuaku for Dyer. I've got zero point 0.4 in the bank to do that. So the Lookman, I could have spent 5.4 and I've spent 5. So Cavallero at 5.3. I was actually just on the Scout members area before our call, and I just made my transfers 20 minutes ago, looking at the difference between Lookman and Cavallero. And Cavallero is, of course, more advanced. He is playing like the number 9. But Lookman's involved more throughout the game. In terms of eye test, when I watched the game, I really like Lookman. He plays 90 every week as well. Cavallero often comes off and sort of plays 70, 75. And yes, he's on pens, but for me, I've always liked Lookman. I thought he was really unlucky at Everton not to get more minutes. I followed him in Germany quite a lot. I remember him as a kid at Charlton. So yeah, Lookman, I've got a bit of a soft spot there. For me, it became more of a battle when I decided on Lookman. It was, do I go Lookman or Souček? Souček is, of course, the more template pick, the safer pick. They've got the double game week coming up. He's just scored. I don't like jumping on a player that's just scored like most would. It's like he's just had his goal. So actually, I often find like, well, no, I'd rather someone that scored 4 weeks ago and they're due again. Also, with the West Ham change in system 4-2-3-1, there's one extra player in front of Souček than there was previously when they played with the back 5. So that's also part of my thinking. And Lookman's a front 3 player and he's just fun to watch. And I like the next couple of fixtures. If I end up going to Souček for the double game week in 5 weeks' time, then so be it. But Lookman's got Brighton, who look terrible at the back. Then Newcastle, who I never rate at the back. And then Southampton with their high line. We always love the Southampton high line. Lookman could be one to expose that. So I just looked at the next 3 and went, let's do it.
So I actually did a video, went out yesterday, on the Scout channel Transfer Watch, because Souček was one of the most transfer players in, at least at the time when I recorded it.
Of course he was.
And I compared him to Lookman as part of that, because obviously they're the same price, both 5 million. Now, I think the nice thing about Souček is the fixtures are kind of good all the way up to that double game week, right? Not that you should be, not. I think it's still too early to be bringing players in just because of that double, but the fixtures are quite good. Whereas Fulham's get quite tough after the next three, but for the next three they're good. And also, I actually thought the underlying numbers are slightly better for Lookman. He's much more creative than Souček would be, and then their goal threat's very similar. So I actually think that's a decent pick, and I think Fulham maybe starting to turn the corner a little bit. I don't know how much I really like. What do you think about it? I find it difficult for a team that was so bad to suddenly change my opinion completely by maybe readjusting it slightly. Like, what's your take on Fulham?
They were so bad, Andy, but they were so bad at the back. I thought all season they've been fairly creative in terms of having a go. I mean, it was only a few weeks back we were talking about Fulham. They'd had 3 pens and 3 misses from 3 different players. Like, they were getting in positions to score, they were getting penalties. He's having a go, and now he's got players like Loftus-Cheek, Lookman, Cavallero playing consistently. The likes of Tom Kearney, Mr. Championship, is on the bench, and they just look a little bit stronger. And Guisa looks brilliant in the middle. The back line looks great. He's moved Bobby Reed, a forward, to right wing back. That's working really well. Reed, we saw get a great goal at the weekend. They just look a bit more solid. And we're starting to see the same 11 out. Earlier in the season, Scott Parker was just picking players here, there, and everywhere. He didn't know his best 11. He's got it now.
So you're happy enough of him? You think Lookman could be the one? I agree. 100%. I think the first game he played was against Everton. Actually, I think he came on. I think he came on. I think it might have been Everton, and I thought he looked really good then. So he's obviously followed through with that. So yeah, look, if they've turned a bit of a corner, I agree on the attacking stats. Again, I looked at them earlier, and I think even for the whole season, they're like 12th best for expected goals. That's for the whole season, and it's got even a little bit better for the last few weeks as well. So yeah, from an attacking perspective, good enough. I'm still unsure about the defence, but no one's got defenders from them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Looking at the back, looking cheap but solid enough. Obviously about to play Fulham Lamptey, so we'll see if he's back. It sounds quite promising from Potter. I don't think there's going to be much of an issue there. And your boy Reece James looking great again. Much better option than Chilwell right now, right?
Reece James at the weekend, he was our only good player. Mason Mount was brilliant. Reece James was amazing. Those two were the only ones that showed up. But Reece James, mate, he hit the post from his free kick. No, sorry, he hit the post from a half volley. Mason Mount hit the post from a free kick, which would have been a James assist. It's just like, everyone's going to moan. Every FPL manager is going to moan that their players nearly scored. And I don't believe in the whole luck thing. Like, over 38 games, it will balance itself out. But in the last 5-6 game weeks, I've had at least one player every week hit the beans on toast. And this week it was Reece James. Last couple of weeks, been my captain, so I'm pleased that wasn't the case this time around. But yeah, James on another day gets a 13 to 15 pointer with the goal, assist, the bonus. But yeah, he looks great, mate. I love him. Like, he is. I do think he's the best value defender in the game, and I think he'll continue just to get assists for fun. And yeah, if you're looking to buy James or Chilwell, it's James at the moment for sure.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers. Sorry, I was just because I was looking at the numbers earlier. Like, he is now ahead. Like, for I think for the last 6 game weeks, obviously didn't play necessarily all the games at the start, but he is starting to get ahead of Chilwell now, and he's like nearly $1 million less as well. So yeah, absolute bargain there.
You save it for sure. And I'm a bit worried about my back line. Like, I've got, just because if I don't get 3 out, I don't get a sub come in, because obviously Masuaku's injured and Mitchell's out. So do I take a 4-point hit and sell Masuaku to Dyer this week, knowing that he's got Liverpool anyway and only going to get probably 2 points? I'm just not entirely sure. Lamptey trained today. I'm confident Target starts, but you just never know. There could be an injury. What would you do, Andy? Would you go for the 4-point hit option? I don't really want to take an unnecessary hit when I can just go Dyer next week for Masuaku.
If Dyer is the one you're looking at, then no, I don't think I would, because like, my money would be on Liverpool and Spurs scoring in that game. Like, I could see both sides scoring. So straight away you're expecting a goal. I think it's one of those, if it pays off, you look like a genius, but most of the time it doesn't. So I probably wouldn't do that. I'd risk the.
What about Lindelof or Stones? Would you risk it for them though?
No, I think same.
They're the other two.
I mean, Lindelof. I mean, if a centre back's going to score from a corner or a free kick, it's going to be Maguire, not Lindelof, most of the time. So Lindelof has scored for us before, but I just don't see it. And Stones, like, The thing is, Stones has started 3 in a row, and he suddenly looks like a
Yeah.
bargain at 4.8. But I feel like Stones always looks at a bargain at some point during the season. It never lasts. And if
Yeah.
Laporte or Ake started alongside Diaz on Tuesday, would anyone be shocked? Absolutely not. I mean, Stones might come back into the team. I'm not saying that he's going to lose his place or anything, but Pep's says some good things about Stones, and he keeps talking about how if players are performing, he's not going to drop them. It's not going to be rotation, but I don't know. Again, for a 4-point hit for someone that I still wouldn't be
Yeah.
100% confident he's going to start, I would risk it if it was me. And I think Dyer, there's just not enough upside to take a hit. If it was like a really attacking defender with a really good fixture, it's a bit different. I can't even think around 4.9 who even is in that bracket. Like, for a bit more money, it's Reece James, but you've already got him. Yeah, Vestergaard potentially, but it's Arsenal this week, isn't it? And then it's Man City. So the upside of all these defenders is just not high enough. So I think you risk it. I think you go in like that and hope for the best.
Yeah, probably be another week of 9 or 10 men, which I can't have. Like, you can't have someone that's meant to know what they're talking about consistently getting 9 or 10 men out. But I can't. You're right, Andy. I will be risking it, and I think it will be Eric Dyer. I was sort of 5% thinking John Stones, 10% Lindelof, and the 85% on Dyer. I think I'm pretty fixed on. But I'm hoping to start bringing certainly defenders, and the 3 I've just mentioned are all from sort of top teams.
Yeah.
I'm done with finding the cheap enablers from average teams. Now, I think we're getting to the point in the season where the good teams, the ones that always do, are going to start keeping their clean sheets. Early in the season, when we had goals coming from everywhere, and we had Villa beating Liverpool 7-2, results like that, and United losing 5-1 to Spurs or whatever it was. Those results, those freak results, won't happen as much. And I now want defenders from good teams, obviously at affordable prices, like a Stones, a Lindelof, or a Dyer. But I want those players in there.
Yeah, I think I've got nothing against Stones, Dyer, or Lindelof. I just think for a hit, it's not necessarily worth it. I mean, Masuaki to Sufal maybe could be attacking against Crystal Palace, but again, you're banking on an attacking return to get your money back, or your points back. So I don't think it's worth it. Let's leave it on a couple more questions. So first one, captaincy. I'd say for a lot of people that own De Bruyne and Fernandes this week, it's probably quite close. Probably one of the closest it's been for a little while. What's your thoughts on those two? Is it definitely on De Bruyne? Have you got any chance of going to Fernandes instead?
Do you know what, this week, with my rank and with how it's been going, I just want to play safe. I want to have a captain fail where if it fails, I go, at least he's been the most captain and I'm in the same boat as everyone else. So for that reason, I think I will be going KDB. I need to look at the polls and I'm guessing KDB will come out on top. But I do prefer West Brom to Sheffield United, despite Sheffield United being hopeless. And because I'm selling Sterling and I've sold Sterling, I'm conscious of that whole sort of kick in the teeth by Sterling hauling. I feel like if he does, there's a good chance KDB will be involved with those goals, and therefore at least he'll be my captain. So I'm pretty set on KDB, to be fair. And the Sterling sale is probably 50% of it, and the other 50% is his higher. More people will captain him than Fernandes, I think.
I actually think so. I'm probably going to own both. I'm probably going to captain De Bruyne as well. But I actually think there's a chance Fernandes comes out on top captain because his ownership's just so much higher, and because he's done so well for people recently, and the fact that Sheffield United just lost 3-0 to Southampton, I think that's going to play on people's minds. So I think it's going to be close, and I think it is a pretty close call anyway. But I think, and I actually think that's a good thing, by the way, that Fernandes comes out on top. But I think De Bruyne is slightly better as well because I do think, although Sheffield United are bad, West Brom have just been that much worse, and that's kind of what's playing on my mind. Just in terms of other players, obviously we talked about Werner to Kane as well. Is there any other players you're looking to get rid of anytime soon? Calvert-Lewin or anyone like that?
No, not massively. I said last week about Calvert-Lewin, I'm very happy with his sort of 5 to 6, 7 pointers just trickling in nicely. We might get 1 or 2 explosive returns in there. He was brilliant again against Chelsea and very nearly got a second assist for a second penalty that was just marginally offside. Everton were fairly unlucky there. And it was his run. It was a great run. So no, he's staying. Do you know what? There's no one in my team now, certainly my 11, that I'm desperate to transfer out. When Villa's fixtures swing in four weeks, I think it is, maybe 3-4 weeks, Target will be gone. I don't want double Villa defence, but until then, I'm happy with him for the next 3. Villa have got Burnley, then they've got West Brom and Palace. The only player I'm really worried about that I planned to have back if I needed was Grealish, but I just couldn't stretch to him. So yeah, Werner to Kane, Masuaku to Dyer, I think will be my next 2. And I don't quite know in what order yet. Again, I want to get rid of Werner ASAP, but at the same time, I can't go on with three playing defenders for long.
Well, okay. Well, we'll see next week, and by next week, it's going to be in a couple of days because obviously the next deadline is going to be quick. I reckon you'll go Kane first, and the reason is, if I quickly think about who's playing who, Reece James, you're never going to bench him anyway. Target is playing West Brom away, I think, next, and Lamptey's playing Sheffield United at home. So you'll have three defenders you'll be okay playing. So I think next week you'll do Werner to Kane, and you'll risk the bench for one more week. And then maybe you look to bring in Dyer or whoever else comes to mind. I think that's what will happen, but we'll find out Wednesday or Thursday whenever we record the next video. But yeah, I think your defence actually got, because I've got similar players and I know they've got okay fixtures for the next couple. So we'll see what goes. We'll leave it there because the deadline is in just a few hours by the time this goes out. So obviously good luck with that. And do leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe if you're new around here. We will be back for another one of these videos on this channel before the Game Week 14 deadline as well. Not sure what day yet, but we'll get it out. Gianni, thank you as always for joining me.
Thank you, mate. Good luck, FPL managers, for a midweek round of fixtures. And look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, good stuff. We'll be back very soon. I'm just thinking we'll have team news stream later today on Tuesday before the deadline. And obviously, we'll have all the normal content back next week. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll catch you again soon.